What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden, and today it is finally time to stop talking about it, and we're going to start working on getting the Holley Sniper set up on this truck. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it in one sit down. It might take me a day or two with the amount of time that I have, but that's what's next. I got the gas can out and ready to put some gas in that fuel cell. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Let's get to work. All right, so first things first here. I was looking at what the Holley Sniper can do, and it pretty much has all of my gauges except for miles per hour or my speedometer and my oil pressure. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do for oil pressure and see if I still want a speedometer in it. Not that that would really matter, because I don't see this truck ever really hitting the road, well, really ever again. So I'm gonna figure that stuff out. So that probably means that the little, instrument cluster that we mounted over here for last time is probably gonna come out. But to really get things going with the Sniper kit, I am going to go ahead and start disassembling stuff. I'm going to get the carburetor off, and if you look on this truck, oh, I just ripped my jacket, awesome. On this truck, it already had a oxygen sensor way down there, so I might already have a place to put an oxygen sensor. So going to pull that out, see if it's the same size, go through all that happy stuff. So right now really is going to be about taking off all the old and getting prepped for the new. So finding where the sensors and sending units and stuff like that are all going to go, what's going to be kept, what's going to be left behind, all that happy stuff, and what's going to leave. So that's what I'm going to start with. So I think next time you look in here, it should be a little more bare. Give ourselves some room to work, and I'm going to start having at it. Okay, so carburetors off. Just to show you guys, carburetors off. Ding. That thing's got some really long carburetor studs. I'm gonna have to change that. It had the really long carburetor studs because we had two spacers that were underneath there. I think I'm gonna get rid of the spacers because at the moment this was as tall of a air cleaner I could run with those spacers on there because of the overhang right here. Sorry, I'm fumbling with other stuff in my hands here, but this little overhang, the air cleaner literally was like right there, and couldn't run any bigger air cleaner. And I'd like to get, a nice, maybe a 4-inch or something on there, maybe something that matches the modified, or I don't know, we'll see. But I definitely want to put a better air cleaner on there. So next thing I was doing, I think the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to put sensors in place, or figure out sensors. And so I went to the Sniper kit. This is the LCD display. Here is the oxygen sensor, and then here's the kit to where you can drill in to your current exhaust, clamp on the bung mounting, and then mount your oxygen sensor there. But like I said, my exhaust, it already has a oxygen sensor in there, so I'm going to pull that out and see if it's the same size. If it's the same size, then I'll probably just use the one that's already there. this is going to be my temperature sensor. I'm like 90% sure of that. And then of course we have some wiring harness in the box. But really, when I say sensors, the only two that I have to really worry about installing is going to be temp sensor and oxygen sensor, because this is a speed density system, meaning that it has a manifold absolute pressure or MAP sensor to dictate how much air is actually going through the system. But as I'm going through the kit, I'm not seeing one anywhere, so that leads me to believe, and I'm sure I'm going to do some reading here in a minute, but that leads me to believe that the MAP sensor is actually part of this throttle body setup here. I'm sure, yeah, they got the throttle position sensor. They should have the IAC, idle air control. I mean, I think everything is literally inside here, other than, like I said, temperature and oxygen sensor. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those two sensors out. The only thing, yeah, the Holley will be able and should be able to control when my fan turns on and off. So what I had before was an electric fan with a setup that, you know, this is basically my sending unit. Once this hit a certain temperature, it connected the ground inside there and allowed power to go back to my fan and turn the fan on. So I don't think I need that anymore, because the Holley should take care of it, and internally, because you can set like what temperature your fans turn on and off. So that should take care of all that, to be honest. So I will probably end up taking this one out, but the old temperature sensor is this one right here. I didn't realize that there was a plug wire in the way. Is this one right here, and I'm looking down on that, and it looks like it's underneath the distributor pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it out, get this one out to put the new one in, but I don't know, we'll see. I think that spot is actually a better spot to get the temperature from, because that's closer to the head, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna get that sensor hopefully in, the temperature sensor in, and the oxygen sensor in. I'll come back and chat with you. New day here. I got my temp sensor installed here. I was correct in assuming that the HEI distributor was going to be in the way and this wouldn't come out without uninstalling the distributor. So I went ahead and put it up here. That'll be all right. And then when it comes to the oxygen sensor, a couple things. Number one, I couldn't even get that old one to come out way down there. And believe me, I tried. So, oh well. Then I looked at drilling using the clamp kit that they have, and drilling a hole on this side, but sorry about that, camera died on me mid-conversation. Anyways, I was saying that I couldn't use the hole that was there, and that there's really not a whole lot of room way back there on that exhaust. Now I could have drilled into that exhaust if I had to dropped the exhaust and you know, drilled my hole and then shoved it all back up in there. There was plenty of room for the sensor, but there wasn't enough room for me to get my drill in there, which kind of stinks, but that's all right. I ended up coming over to this side. Since the camera died, I got back to work, and the oxygen sensor, I'll probably have to crawl down below, but the oxygen sensor, there was plenty of room on this side for my drill, as you can see. Lots of room. Went ahead and drilled and mounted that whole deal there. I have just two regular hose clamps here. The clamps that came with the kit were too big. tighten them all the way down, and they still just slide on and off. So I still got the stock exhaust for the truck, so it's just, dang it. The kit comes with everything that you need as long as it's the right size. These are the clamps that it came with, which are good heavy duty clamps. I just put on some cheap hose clamps. I'm gonna hope to go to Summit and get a better clamp, but my O'Reilly's that's right down the street didn't have exactly what I was looking for. So I'll try to hit Summit at some point in time, but that's at least going to get us started, ready to rock and roll. If you looked at the exhaust, there was a bunch of dirt, debris, all that stuff around there. I got under there with a wire wheel and my drill, like yeso, and cleaned up all around that, because it does have a gasket that goes between that bracket where the bung is that the oxygen sensor screws on, and goes between that and the exhaust. So I wanted to make sure it was cleaned up and sealed. So got that mounted, got my temperature sensor mounted. I think it's almost time to stop messing around, except for I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is lightly snowing. It's been on and off, heavier snow, light snow, and then wind will blow through here. And so of course I picked a great weather day to be working outside. Well, I only got a week to get done, so I'm gonna do everything that I can to get done. And I'm not sure if it was caught on the video before or not, but that's still the stock temp sensor, because I couldn't get it out. This distributor's too wide, so I ended up putting it here. According to the instructions, you're supposed to mount it in the manifold or in the head. Seeing how I have a gutted thermostat, that's pretty close, so should be all right with that, I hope. If not, if I'm running into issues, I will find a better spot to put it and just plug that hole off. But that's what was easy. So all right, I think it's time to stop messing around and actually start putting some things on here. Well, best laid plans went to garbage. I set this throttle body on here. Oh man, it's really starting to come down. I set this throttle body on here, and when I set it down without a spacer, the front of the carburetor it runs into the distributor, and then the fuel out runs into this, and there's just not a whole lot of clearance for things. So I'm gonna end up running a spacer. I don't know if I'm going to run the stock stuff, because there was a bunch of extra vacuum holes and things like that. For as you saw, I had that aluminum spacer there. I'll probably just use the aluminum one. I just need to go track down a couple of gaskets, and I think that's the route that I'm going to go, is just use that. And I was messing around here a little bit with the throttle pedal, and I made sure that it looks like it's going to bolt up. Looks like it'll bolt up right about there-ish, and then at full, looks like it'll bolt up right about there-ish, and then at full throttle in the cab, it's like right there, which is right close to full throttle on the actual throttle body. I won't know 100% until I actually get it bolted up in position, but it looks like I'm going to be able to use all of the throttle with using my stock throttle. So the snow is starting to, it's a light snow, but it's starting to come down, so I'm going to get that hole covered up. I'm going to go get me some gaskets, probably some bolts to be able to bolt that stuff down with, and then we'll keep moving forward. All right, got her bolted on. You can see it's all covered in plastic and stuff, but you can see the side over here that it's bolted up. I had to use my spacer and All the wires are sitting in the back, still looped up. I'm gonna have to cut that zip tie and start getting things plumbed where they need to go as far as the wiring. And then I'm gonna have to hook up the throttle linkage. But man, the snow sucks. My hands are getting cold. But gonna keep it as closed up as I can while I'm going through this process. I'm gonna get as much as I can hooked up. Now it seems like all I'm at is hooking up wiring, finishing hooking up the fuel system and all that jazz. So moving in the right direction. Fingers are cold. God, didn't we just have beautiful weather a handful of weeks ago? Like, this is our third or fourth winter. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna keep working here. Sorry, there's not a whole lot to see. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep it all covered up, so I'm not getting snow down in a whole lot of snow down into the motor. Though I think, you know, a little bit of moisture, not necessarily going to hurt anything, but I definitely don't want to leave it wide open to the elements, right? So, all right, I'm gonna continue on probably with the electrical, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is finish off the fuel system. Yeah, it's still cold. Anyways, I got lots of wiring and stuff done. I think I'm mostly complete, except for I need to connect the one wire that's going to control my fan still. So that's going to be important to do. And then, of course, all of my wires right now are just kind of laying around and being kind of crazy. So everything needs to be tied up. But other than that, I think the wiring is complete other than the fan. Technically, I should be able to start it now, though, the way it sits. So, well, scratch that. Now I have to finish plumbing all of the fuel lines. So I got the fuel line plumbed up to here, and some extra hose wrapped up. Now I've got to get it connected to here, get it hooked up to a fuel pressure regulator, and get my return line all hooked up. Once all of that is done, technically, I should be able to turn it on and do the programming of the module, because you're supposed to program the module before you try to start it. So I'll those are the next steps. It is getting cold really quick. I'm just gonna see what I can get done before it gets completely dark too, and I don't know, who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and I'll be able to try to start it tonight. If not, that's a tomorrow thing, but let's see. Okay guys, I have the system in, okay? I worked late last night in the freezing cold, and got it finished, got it all wired up, got it in. I mean, I still have to tie up wires and stuff, but last night I tried to start it, and it wouldn't start. I was driving myself absolutely insane trying to figure out why it wouldn't start. It was not getting a crank signal. Apparently when you go through the starting setup, there's a little thing up there, engine RPM, when you first go through it, and right now it says stall. When it's not cranking, it'll say stall, or when it's not reading a signal, it'll say stall. And mine was just stall. I went through the wizard process. This isn't a really how-to video, because there's a bazillion of how-tos on how to install this thing, but I was not getting a crank signal to my device here, And this morning I came at it anew and I decided, you know what, we're gonna try something here. And I changed out the module in the distributor, this bad boy right here, changed it, and weird, it picks up the crank signal now, but now I got to get the thing to start. So I've cranked it a couple times and it's tried, but it hasn't actually started. So hopefully I'll be able to show you the screen here. Maybe. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you the screen while I try to get this thing to start, and show you what I mean by it going from stall to start. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work out too well, guys, sorry. But I'll give it, this is gonna be actually the third attempt of getting the truck to start, but at least it's trying. So here we go. Okay, well, it started, but it runs really rough. So I think that's its learning cycle. If I do this like 1 or 2 more times and it doesn't finally take off and start idling, I'm sure it's going to be back to the troubleshooter guide on the Holley website to try to figure out why it's running rough. You know, I made sure to do the things that the book says to do. I made sure that my power positive and negative go all the way back to the actual battery. That's what that wire, those red and black wires connecting are. I made sure to use the connectors that they suggest, that my ignition, when I was originally looking for stuff, I was probing these. I was pretty sure when I chose them to start with, but these are hot all the time, even through crank. I made sure all of that. I even went through all the pin connectors and made sure there were no bent pins inside my connectors and stuff. Man, I was losing my mind. So but like I said, we're gonna try to get this thing to run. And like, if it doesn't take off and run here in the next couple tries, I know there's a rough running troubleshooting guide, and we'll try that. So we're getting close. I'm happy that I at least got to hear it kind of go putt-putt. Trying to run. Ooh, and then it poofs out. All right, we're gonna get this thing figured out and see what's going on. Here we go. Alrighty, now it's not wanting to start. It's trying like hell, but it's not actually starting. So yeah, here we go, down the troubleshooting rabbit hole. Alrighty, as you can hear, the truck is running. I don't know if it's running as good as it should be, but she's getting up to operating temp, or rather she is at operating temperature now, 182 degrees, and staying there. I had to fix my fan real quick. Turns out my 12 volt source I was using for my fan over here, this thing wasn't working. Luckily there was some already tapped back there. I was able just to swap that over for a quick short fix so the truck didn't overheat while it's sitting there running. But hey, it's idling, it's running, it's doing its thing here. I'm gonna go ahead and clear it off. I'm gonna get the truck kind of pulled out of the way a little bit, clean up my mess while it's still running, and then hopefully get it back in the garage. Yeah, one step, baby steps, right? Well, that was dumb. You can see there's a bunch of fuel on the ground. This literally just happened. I look over here and this was off. Some dumb arse that moved this to get the ground cable and all that stuff on, didn't put it back on. So it's my bad. Truck just died and I was like, what's going on? I look back and I see leaking fuel and I'm like, oh, I'm stupid. That's what's going on. That's what happens when you get in a hurry. Well, she's still running rough. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing mechanically wrong. I'm about to try to see if there's any vacuum leaks or anything. You know, you first push on the throttle and it pops through the throttle body. So yeah, I don't know, I think that's my next step, is try to make sure there's no vacuum leaks or anything crazy stupid or anything like that going on. So all right guys, let me go through this frustrating saga with you. So truck was not running good at all, so decided to throw some new plugs and wires at it. I did have some fouled out plugs, majorly fouled out plugs, still running like dookie. So then that got me thinking, okay, well, these Holley fuel pressure regulators, they say that they come preset, but let me double check it. So I went through the process of going to Summit and getting stuff to be able to hook up a fuel pressure gauge to it. Checked it and it's right at about the 60 pounds that it's supposed to be. So okay, went through all my wiring again, checked my firing order, checked all that stuff like a bazillion times. You guys didn't get to see all my frustrations because I was getting kind of grumpy and upset with myself that the stuff wasn't working out. So I went back to square one, started all over again, looked at everything mechanical, went through the entire system, the Holley system, and everything was right. It's just everything says it's right. And then I was like, you know what, this truck seems to be running like, I mean, it's running like it has a miss. It's shaking, it's vibrating, it's being terrible. And so I decided to look up the firing order again. Mind you, I got my firing order off of Google, and I did a little bit more searching, went to a different site than what I got my original firing order off of, and guess what? Found a different firing order, and a different way to run my wires. So stupid me, just taking some stuff for face value and not triple checking everything. I had the wrong firing order on here. No wonder I had some fouled out plugs. I mean, man, that's just frustrating. You guys didn't get to see it, but I have. I've been working on this truck all day. It is currently 4:30 on Sunday, and I've been fighting with it I've probably been fighting with it for a good 5 hours or so, not including running around, getting parts and trying to make things happen. So, on me. But guess what? When you get the correct firing order, you turn the key, it primes, and then check this out. Yeah, running way smoother. Oh, and check this out. Yeah, like really good throttle response. You know, they say life is hard, but it's much harder when you're stupid. and I feel like that was my stupid moment. Is what it is. Got through it. Sunday, truck runs. Truck runs. It still needs to go through some more learning cycle, some drive time, and stuff like that. But it runs. Like, I'm so ecstatic. And of course, when I popped this open over here to get fuel pressure, it's now leaking. So now I gotta pull that fitting back out and seal it back up, make sure I don't have any fuel leaks, and then I still need to go through and tie up wires. I did a okay job just to get me rocking and rolling, but I really need to tie up some wires here, especially in the back where they're kind of hanging down close to my exhaust, right there. Yeah, so hey, it works. I'm happy. As you can see, I took a breather, and sometimes it works to get away from your project, right? I took a breather and I started cleaning up the driveway a little bit, and that's when I had the epiphany, like, you know what, let's triple check the timing one more time. I'm gonna pull up a different one on Google, and not timing but firing order. Hey, and guess what, firing order was wrong. So all right, so now we have a running truck. I got to figure out what's going on with these brakes. I look down here and they are just wet as wet can be, and the brakes bleed off. So got that to worry about now too. But hey, week from today is when we're supposed to be racing. At least the truck runs. I still got a lot more stuff to do. Hang in there with me. We're gonna get back to work. Too crazy till I figure out why the brakes bleed off, but she goes now, thank goodness. I was starting to get a little panicked that it wouldn't happen. As you can tell, it's extremely dark outside. Truck is parked facing the other way. I am gonna call it for the night. Thank goodness. I am tired, and I got pretty frustrated there for a second, and I'm glad that I persevered. And sometimes you just gotta, you know, reset your brain and go back at it. But still got some stuff to do to the truck. Got 1 week to do it pretty much, but we're gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all your support too. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, down below, don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a race coming up and got lots more work on the not a whole bunch, but got more work on the Tuff Truck to do to get finished up and ready to rock and roll. And we'll be working on the modified here soon too, because we got to get that thing ready to race, and you know, we got a motor rebuild. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you next video.